guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you all the books that I read in November. I am a little bit disappointed because, you know, I'm always very ambitious and I always get sidetracked as well, and I end up jumping for joy and I'm a very excitable person with books and my impulsivity, and I decided to read other books that weren't on my TBR. So whoopsie, but I mean, at least I read, at least I had fun, okay? And that's all that matters. Okay, so I wanted to let you know I read a total of 8 books this month, and the total pages for this month I read were 3,315. I read relatively quick books, honestly. Like the longest book that I read had 551 pages. So I'm used to reading quite thick fantasy books. So it was a somewhat, I don't think it was that hard. I feel like, let me have a little look. Even though last month I only read 2,611 pages, I still felt like the books were big, you know? I read Fourth Wing and Powerless, but this is still an improvement. Reading 3,315 pages, I think, is rather good. But here we are. We're in my little Christmas setup. I have written down everything that I need to talk about. So let me just get this in the right order. Silly me. So there were 2 books that I didn't end up getting to finish. I'm so bummed about it, but this month has been extremely busy for me work-wise. I've been very, very, very busy and just overcommitted to things. So I'm excited for a little breather, break, a little less commotion. But so the first book I read was Daisy Hates by Jessa Hastings. I actually really, really enjoyed this book. I found that it was less bougie, I'll admit. It was less bougie than Magnolia Parks, the first book in the Magnolia Parks universe. But I did enjoy this more because even though the themes were a lot different, you know, having a gang lord brother and that kind of mafia vibes, that was scary and it was thrilling to read through. But it was less toxic relationship-wise, even though, yes, it was toxic. There's always a bit of toxicity in these kind of romance books. But I enjoyed Christian a lot in this book. I loved seeing his point of views. Obviously, this is about Daisy Hates. It's dual point of view. It's actually not dual point of view because it also has some Julian point of views, and Julian is her older brother. So they've had a really rough upbringing. Their parents were killed right in front of them, and she doesn't want to be a part of this life. She doesn't enjoy it. Without any spoilers, there's a lot of shit that goes down in this book, and it's sad for everyone. It's really sad for everyone. And when she loves with every fiber of her being. She's a really, really fun girl. She's very bougie. She's desperate to be safe, and Christian is desperate to keep her safe, which is really, really cute. She's only 20 years old, and she's just wanted a normal life, her whole life, but she's the heiress to London's criminal empire. So, I mean, what does that tell you? And especially, looking at the cover, it's already telling a story right there. Wouldn't you agree? If this is the first time you've ever seen the book and you've never heard anything about it, you'd have to think, what does all this mean? Even the back, what does this mean? And I was thinking that too when I first picked it up. I was like, that's a little bit odd, but I can't wait to know why there is all of this on here. And it is really, really exciting. I love how the washing machine is right there. If anyone knows what the washing machine means, you'll laugh when you actually finally realize. No, it's honestly so cute. Loved that book. I ended up giving that a 4 stars. That was I was adamant on it. I was adamant on the 4 stars because I really enjoyed it. And I found that I binged it quite quickly. I binged the shit out of it, which was really good. So the next book I read was Throne of Glass. I finally got onto Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I ended up giving this one a 4 stars. it feels like it's been so long since I picked this baby up, and I actually really, really enjoyed it. And I can't wait to hear about, I just can't wait, because I read Assassin's Blade before reading this, and there was little hints of things, and my bookish friend Maddie, who's read the whole series, she's a big Sarah J Maas fan, has said, like, just hold on, like, it's gonna get better and better and better. And I'm like, oh my god, I can't wait. So pretty much this is about Selena Sardothian. We follow her as the kingdom's most renowned assassin. She was captured and has been made a slave in the brutal salt mines of Vendovia. But Prince Dorian offers her a chance to win back her freedom, and of course she's going to take it. She's desperate for it. And I really like her personality. I found that she was... I actually really, really enjoyed her being like... She is a good protagonist that you don't think, oh, like, you're really pathetic. Like, there's always going to be a book where the protagonist is so pathetic and you're like, why am I rooting for you? Or even like, I don't want to root for you. But this girl, I really enjoyed her. I just love a strong female character, a complex female character, but she's just a vibe. She's so cool. This next book I read was Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. I actually ended up giving this a 5 stars. This was my first 5 stars of the month. I really, really enjoyed this because only recently, last year, I watched the movie for the first time, but I've actually never watched the original movie. I've only watched the Saoirse, Timothy Chalamet, Florence Pugh movie, the Greta Gerwig one, with obviously Emma Watson. And I actually really enjoyed it, and that's why I found it so easy to read this book. I actually was surprised with myself. I was like, I'm reading an 1800s book and I find this easy? That's so cool. That is so cool, because every other book that I've read that's really set back and it's a classic, I find that sometimes my brain, it takes a while to adjust, but I was encapsulated into this book. I think maybe because it was more so just solely... it was just solely surrounded by women, and that's funny because the book is called Little Women. So this book, it follows Amy, Beth, Meg and Joe, and they are living with their mother, they call her Marmee, and they're pretty much, you kind of get an insight into their flaws. They think they're flaws. It's so cute. And their father is away at war. Mother is a very outspoken woman of her time. And this story we pretty much find out how the girls, grow up, find their place in this world, find their way and find their love. And it's also somewhat heartbreaking. There's little bits of heartbreak. There's a really, really strong situation where I'm just kind of like, oh, that was really hard to get through. And I always think too, whenever I'm sick, I'm like, oh my God, imagine me being sick in that time. I probably would have just been dead, honestly. So, wow, like, they're all just so strong. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say about this. It's kind of like, without spoiling anything, it's so good how it's solely around 4 women. I just think that's so cool. I think it's so cool. From what I can remember, I don't think this person is my favorite, like, sister in this book, but if I were in the book, if I were playing that character, if I were playing any of the characters in the book, I feel like I would really do so well at being Jo. And I know that's so typical because she's clearly the main part, but I feel like I really resonate with Jo, she's so ambitious, and she's holy, and she's awkward, and she's just really, really passionate, and she's a creative genius. And here I am, I'm also a creative genius. I'm constantly directing musicals, and I'm a dance teacher. I love making up dances. I just make up things on the spot. I just love it. And I'm a bookworm, and she likes reading and writing, and it's just awesome, and I just love it. So I feel like I resonate with her the most, and I just really, really enjoyed this book. So yeah, this was my first 5-star of the month. I really enjoyed it. There's a couple of books, I'm pretty sure it's just a couple, I don't know. There's a couple or a few books in this month that I don't have physical copies of because I ended up purchasing them on Audible, and I kind of wish that I actually do have the physical copies of these, it kind of annoys me, but anyway. So I ended up reading Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. This is the cover right here, and I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was so cute. Like, I just really was craving something so cute, just something that I could, just to cleanse my palette, because I just needed something like that after reading Little Women. I was like, you know what, I need something a bit cute, you know. And Abby Jimenez just did that for me. I gave it a 4 stars. I thought it was really, really strong. The writing was excellent, and I binged it. I binged it so hard. I loved it so much. It's got like an age gap. So Alexis is, oh my God, I can't remember. I think Alexis, I remember, from what I remember, it's been a long time. From what I remember, she is 39 and Daniel is 29. And Daniel is a hot carpenter, and he lives in a loft, like on this big property. Like, he's really close with his family and everything. He has a baby goat, and one thing leads to another with them, and it is actually so fiery and passionate. And like, it started off with them talking and her friends making a bet, and then she ends up going over to his house and she says, like, I don't do this, but all they were doing was having toasted cheese sandwiches. And then one thing leads to another, and boom, and then so much is happening, and she's got a lot of self-doubt, a lot of just doubt in the whole situation in general, even though he's literally like, he's just perfect. He's perfect. Oh my God, I just cut myself. Fuck. And yeah, it was just a really wholesome, sweet book. I just loved the ending of it as well. And yeah, I don't really want to say anything else because it might spoil it, but maybe I can just quickly like give you a nice little summary just in case there was not a lot of depth in my explanation. But I've just found this on Wikipedia. It says, after a wild bet, gourmet grilled cheese sandwich, and a cuddle with a baby goat, Alexis Montgomery has her world turned upside down. The cause is Daniel Grant, a ridiculously hot carpenter who's 10 years younger than her, and as casual as they come, the complete opposite of sophisticated city girl Alexis. So it's kind of like opposites attract. And yeah, I was picturing Brittany Snow as Alexis. You know Brittany Snow, she plays Chloe in Pitch Perfect, and she also plays Amber in Hairspray, the movie. And yeah, I just really, really enjoyed it so much so yeah. The next book that I read was The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This was a long time coming. It really was a long time coming. And I'm also disappointed too, because I was not into it. When I got into it, when I was reading it, I was like, oh. Because pretty much the whole time it's just about a human girl Jude just trying to survive and live in the fairyland. And, you know, there's some rivalry. And I was like, I kind of just didn't understand what was going on the whole time. And that's really silly of me, because I've now read quite a lot of fantasy books over my time of, you know, re-entering my bookworm era. I'm still in it and I'm never going out of it again. But I just think I need to, you know, watch a few more videos to give me like a bit of a summary, a rundown. And you know what else I didn't do? I didn't like listen to a curated playlist on Spotify like I usually do for all my fantasy books. I always listen to playlists of books that people make, and it gets me so hyped, and I never did, and I'm kind of pissed off about it. But also, I just don't know how, like, I just couldn't see myself enjoying it while I was reading it. But prior to, I was like, I think I'm going to like this. And I still gave it a good strong star. I gave it 3 stars. I think 3 is still really good. I still would recommend a book if it's 3, depending on what it is, if I have more of an explanation. But I really did still enjoy it, but I just didn't really, the only reason why I didn't give it higher was because sometimes I was like, what is going on? And I was trying to picture Timothée Chalamet as the main dude in this. So I am excited to get into The Wicked King. I've got all the books in this series, so I'm really excited for how the King of Elfham learned to hate stories, because it looks so beautiful and it's really nicely designed. And that's another thing too, like I really appreciated at every chapter there was always like a really quiche design. What else was there? Oh, it was the same one the whole time, was it? I don't know. And it's got like mushrooms and stuff and like bees, and it was just really cute and stuff. And obviously, like, you can completely agree with me here. This is so cute, this map. Like, that is so cute. And then I love how like, because I can't remember how many books were in this book, but at the start of each part where it was like a new part of the book, it would say something really cute. Like, obviously when you first open it, it says, Book 1, children born of fairy stock. Never need for shirt or frock, never want for food or fire, always get their heart's desire. Jingle pockets full of gold, merry when they're 7 years old. Every fairy child may keep 2 strong ponies and 10 sheep. All have houses, each his own, built of brick or granite stone. They live on cherries, they run wild, I'd love to be a fairy child. And that was apparently written by Robert Greaves, I'd love to be a fairy's child. So it's got a cute little poem at the front. I used to love poems when I was a kid. I used to try and write them all the time. Oh my God, I think the storm's coming. Guys, it's the first day of summer today, and the last couple of days the weather has been really bad. Like on Wednesday, the UV rays were really, really high. Like you could go outside and still get a melanoma. But it was completely foggy and hazy and so hot outside. I still think it's really bouge. I like how like in all of the chapters, if there's like a new part in the chapter, there'll be like this really cute sword, because what I can remember was Jude, the main girl, she wanted to be a knight. And because I needed to help myself out, because I just, as I said, didn't really know what was going on the whole time, I had to pull up a summary just to like help you and me. But it says, this book, Holly Black's The Cruel Prince, follows Jude, a human girl living among fairies. She wants to fit in, but her stubbornness and determination cause her to stand out among the royal family when she aspires to become a knight. Yeah, that's all I've got on that, but I still enjoyed it. I just wanted to enjoy it more because I didn't really know what was going on. And yeah, I'm silly. I know that's like, that would have been an easy book for me. I don't know why, I just didn't gel with it at the time. I think I was just in a mad rush. I was like, oh my God. And I'm pretty sure I was reading Part of Your World at the same time, like that whole week. So I was more fixated on Part of Your World, and I'm like, why did I do that? You know what I mean? Anyway, okay. We have 3 more books that I completed, and I'm really excited. My fucking Ugg boots. Okay. And I'm really excited for this next one because this one was my favorite book this month. This is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. I'm just really giddy about it because I loved it. I loved it so much. I binged it in literally 2 days. It should have been just the one. I should have stayed up all night. I was absolutely frothing it. I was frothing Adam, and it was hard for me to read his name Adam because my cousin who I live with, his name was Adam, and oh my God, I wasn't expecting the spice to be spice. Because it just came out of nowhere, and I was so excited. Okay, so pretty much this is about Olive, and she is a grad. She's a STEM grad at, where is she? Guys, I can't believe I've already forgotten. She's at one of those really prestigious universities in America. It's in California, I'm pretty sure, because they're talking about how, like, you know, if they were in Brooklyn, there would be different weather changes, you know what I mean? But yeah, so she's a 3rd-year PhD candidate. She doesn't believe in lasting romantic relationships. She's got really terrible hardships. She never met her father. And she's trying to study this really, really important subject for her and her STEM career. Pretty sure it was like pancreatic cancer. It's very, very close and near and dear to her, and I don't want to spoil anything. Do what you want with that. You can guess, I guess, but definitely read it if you haven't, because I can't believe I read this, and I'm like, can't believe I waited so long to read it. It was my first Ali Hazelwood book, and I'm glad it was my first Ali Hazelwood book. I am absolutely terrified for the next few because I've got all of them. I actually have all of her books, and I'm now scared. I'm like, are they going to get better? Because I'm freaking out. And I just love how, like, it was STEM. And, like, I feel like if you're not really into science, you might not really, like, understand a couple of chapters of the book. But still, what Ali did was she still made it, you know, delectable. She still made it easy for people to understand at the same time. And she didn't make that like the entire language of the book. Like, we were not talking about, ooh, this potion and this potion and this chemical, and like, no, because pretty much there's always like a hypothesis at every start of the chapter, and I loved it too because it was kind of like a hint into what's going to happen in the next chapter. There were some really shitty people in this book. There were also some really fantastic people in this book. There's some great highs and lows. Her relationship with Adam is so cute because it just comes out of nowhere. Well, she feels like it comes out of nowhere for her. And it's just so cute. It's so cute. So they end up fake dating because they're trying to help each other out with situations that they're both involved in. So like, Adam wanted to show everyone at the university, like kind of like the faculty, and like the government grantors or whatever, like people that he was trying to get money to work somewhere else or make a new project. I can't remember exactly why he needed the money, if it was to like start up a new project or something for his STEM career. And she, Olive, needed this relationship because she was trying to prove to her best friend Anne that she is happy and that she can live in a romantic world, if that makes sense. Also because Anne feels like she's upset Olive because Olive went out on a date with this Jeremy dude and they just didn't really vibe, and she's like, it's fine, but she realized that Anne started liking Jeremy and she was like, oh my God, like, get with him, like, just go for it. I feel like from my memory, Anne was like, she was a bit hesitant while Olive was just like single, not doing anything. And then when she realized that Olive was happy in her fake relationship with Adam, even though Anne had no idea that it was a fake relationship. Sorry, this is taking me a while to conjure it up in my mind again. It's been a while. And Anne could just proceed in dating Jeremy without feeling bad. And there's a lot that happens in the book. There's they end up traveling somewhere, just like for the university, like they all have to go somewhere, and it's really, really fun. I'm pretty sure it was like chapter 19. It was like 18, 19, 20, 21. Those chapters, I think it was those, or it might have been 16, 17. And it was just so cute. Like, they understood each other, and it was really weird because at first you wouldn't have thought they would be a pair. But I guess it's up to you guys with your opinions on this book as well. I want to hear your opinions, especially on this one, okay? Because I loved it. I gave that one a 5 stars. Okay. Then I read 2 more books that were on Audible. The next one is Haunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton, I'm pretty sure. I had heard by Larry. She is such a funny but really, really, really good booktuber. She was like reading all these dark romances. I was inspired by her, and I ended up I ended up earning like 3 vouchers on Audible because I ended up buying so many books on there, and by doing that I earned all these points for these vouchers, and I was like, oh my God, okay. So I was like, what am I going to read? And I ended up purchasing Haunting Adeline, and I was kind of skeptical because I don't really like dark romance. Like, I'm not really a fan of it. I just love like cute, wholesome romance. It can also be toxic, but this was another level. It was quite scary. Okay, so I'm going to tell you my rating first, and I'm quite nervous for the whole public to know my rating because I feel like any logical person would give it such a low rating because it's honestly disgusting. Like, I'm not saying the writing is disgusting. I'm just saying the story, the themes, okay? So I ended up giving it 3 stars. I still think 3 stars is really good. I gave it 3 stars because I enjoyed the thrill of it. I enjoyed how encapsulated I was in a hauntingly way. I was haunted by it. I was like, fuck. And that's funny because the book title is called Haunting Adeline. I just thought it was really interesting. I thought she was really pathetic, to be honest, the main character, Adeline. I didn't like her at all. I actually hated her. I hated everyone in the book. Yeah, I pretty much hated everyone in the book. It was hard to get through. It was, but I also binged it at the same time. I'm not saying the writing was bad, because I actually think the writing style was good. Like, you know, her thoughts and her telling the story of her great-grandma. I think it's her great-grandma or her grandma. I can't even remember. So pretty much Adeline, she is a writer. No, so she's an author, and she's moved into her family's home in Washington, and she's living there by herself. She's just trying to quiche her life up. She ends up going to this book signing for her book, and all of a sudden this really, really dashing and hot man is there, and the second he sees her, and it's good too because you get the different point of views, which is really nice. The second he sees her, he's like, fuck. He's like, I'm in love, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get her. She's mine. They've never spoken. They've never met up until then. He's like, she is mine. And I was just kind of like, all right, let's see how this goes. And then it just got really creepy. That he was very creepy. He was stalking her. So it's like stalker romance, Stockholm syndrome. I don't understand how it just got up there for them. Like, I don't know how it climbed. I don't know how it just panned out the way it did. But anyway, I will give you a more easier description for you to understand. Okay, so obviously she's moved into the Washington house, and this is following the death of her grandmother. So Zaid is the stalker, Zaid. And there's a reason for why he is the way he is. And I think that he has a cool job, because he is trying to essentially end human trafficking by assassinating the human traffickers. So it's cool when you see his point of view when he's doing those things, but when he's doing the things to Adeline, I don't like it. But I understand, like, it's coming from a good place with what he's doing, getting rid of, like, he's trying to end the human trafficking. He's like, you're a fucking disgusting person. Like, you're dead. You're going. And it was cool too, because I liked the narrators. The narrators of the book was so cool, especially Zaid. I was like, oh, his voice. I was like, it was creepy. Yeah, that's pretty much what happens. It's called like a cat and mouse trilogy, because pretty much he calls her his little mouse, because he's like trapped her, and it's kind of like the dominancy. And she unfortunately ends up calling him kitty cat. And that's what really made me want to puke. So that's my thoughts on it. But I gave it a 3 stars just because I was like, you know what? I'm just going to envision this as a thriller, because I hope someone dies. And people did die. But that's about it. I'm not going to say anything else. It's very toxic. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. The last book that I read was Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. It is really good. It is such a good book, and I can understand why it ended up being I think it was like, it won a prize in 2020 it was like a global good prize. The writing was exceptional. I was like, I hope this is a thriller. It did end up being a thriller, and I feel like, I hope it's going to be a movie. I don't even know if it is a movie or a TV show. I think it is so cool. So pretty much this is about Noemi, and she has a cousin, and her cousin has tuberculosis, but she feels, and her cousin writes Noemi a letter pretty much saying she thinks that her husband is trying to kill her. I'm pretty sure her husband is Virgil, and Virgil, this is a whole massive rich mansion in their town, and everything is the way that it is. Nothing is ever changed. They all have their beliefs. They're very strong beliefs. The house is literally run by male rules. And a big theme of the book is definitely sexism, I would say. Okay, I'm going to give you more of an in-depth kind of rundown of the book, just so you, because like I don't really know how to explain this very well. It centers on the young woman, Noemi, investigating her cousin's claims that her husband is trying to murder her. Okay, so we see Noemi move to the mansion. She's gone to check in on her cousin, and Noemi, it feels like she's tripping out. And there's also lots of strong rules, like Noemi can't smoke in the house, fair enough. They have to be quiet, like at all times. It's crazy. And all the rooms have like really uncomfortably weird Gothic, like haunting designs, pretty much. Throughout Mexican Gothic, the protagonist Noemi undermines masculine forms of authority and challenges conversations surrounding outdated gender roles. As I said, sexism. Also, she thinks she's dreaming up some pretty creepy, scary things that are happening. She feels like she's seeing ghosts of people's past that lived in the mansion. She's tripping out pretty much because inside the walls of the house and the roots in the ground on what the mansion lays on is a very toxic chemical. A mushroom of some sort, okay? And this is some sort of thrilling, energetic, magical sort of, I wouldn't say I don't think it's like a real magical thing. I think it's obviously like doing something to them. Something's happening, and yeah, it's really, really creepy and sad to all the women that have to endure it. There were moments where I was completely envisioning absolutely everything that was going on as if it were a movie. The ending kind of like, I didn't really understand, like, I'm going to say the last quarter of it, just before the last 2 chapters. Like, there was like a last quarter of it where I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. What is going on? You know what I mean? But I still really highly recommend the book. I gave it a 3.75 stars. I thought it was really, really well written. So, Sylvia, you did a good job. And I'm so glad that I read it. And yeah, that was my last book that I fully read, which was really exciting and fun. It was that was also set in 1950s Mexico. So that was my 3,315 pages that I read. I am kind of disappointed because I ended up also starting to read Beach Read by Emily Henry and Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince by J.K. Rowling, and I feel like I would have had even more pages read. Now, I'm very pissed off, okay? And you can be pissed off too. You have a right to be pissed off. If you have been sticking by me, watching through my videos this year, you would know that it's been a long time coming reading Beach Read, okay? I am not even halfway into the book because guess what? When I went to Cairns, I was talking about Cairns for so long up in Queensland, I started reading the book on the plane. I got about 100 pages in, right? I left my book in my sister's tote bag for pretty much the entire month, which sucks, which absolutely sucks. And then she came over the other day and dropped it off. I read one whole chapter and then I had to go to work. And then since that day of work, I have not had a single day off. I have not had any time, even in the morning or at night before I go to bed or anywhere, to be like, okay, it's reading time. Like, how sad is that? Literally, how sad is that? So I am upset, but I promise you she's going to be read and it's going to be in my December TBR. In my December wrap up, okay? I promise. And I am really, really enjoying it. I think it's so cute and it's so mature, and I just really, really, really think it will be a very high star rated book. I'm upset. I just feel like I'm ruining it. I'm ruining my experience with this. So I might have to restart it. I don't know. But I also think I'm going to, as I said earlier, I love listening to curated playlists of books, and that can really hype me up. So I might do that, and I'm really excited for it. So you could have been on here. I'm sorry, Emily Henry. And then obviously I have started the Half-Blood Prince, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince by J.K. Rowling. I am currently 305 pages in out of 607. So I'm pretty much almost completely halfway through the book. I'm going to read this today. I feel like I could read 200 pages today. I know that's really ambitious, but I feel like I can, just because this is a reread. I'm rereading the whole series, and I used to watch Harry Potter, literally still in my 20s, all the way up until my 20s. I used to watch it once a week. At least maybe 3 or 4 of the movies once a week. And I just know everything. But also I find too, while I'm reading, like rereading these books, I'm also learning new things as well at the same time, because I only read these books when I was so young. You know what I mean? And like sometimes our brains forget things, and I feel like ever since I've had COVID 3 or 4 fucking times, I feel like I'm getting a lot of memory loss and a lot of memory fog, and I'm forgetting a lot of experiences and conversations and things that have happened, and it really upsets me because I'm really passionate. All right, well, I need a post for my thumbnail now. My eye bags are so bad. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed my video. Let me know what your favorite book out of all of those books were. I want to know. Also, let me know what your favorite books were of this month. And I can't wait for my next video. You guys are going to see all the books that I'm going to be reading in December, okay? I am really sorry to the books and also to the people that were rooting for me with reading the books that I missed. I missed all of the rest of the Magnolia Parks books. I missed the fucking Elsie Silver books. I'm just a hot mess. But we're going to start off strong because I blew cinnamon into my front door today. It's the 1st of December. So I just want a really good, successful month. And I'm really happy. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you like this video, please give it a like because it really does support my channel. And click that subscribe button down below. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye, my sweet people. Bye. Mwah.